Sometimes I struggle with what to say when I'm recording one of these videos that involve very serious and disturbing topics. Disturbing because it's covering concepts of immorality, one's right to exist without fear of being killed or being persecuted, the right to be free to express themselves without a sect of society claiming that their existence is immoral or that it will somehow hurt children when there is no factual basis for it. Or when it comes to a former president dining with a Holocaust denier and a blatant white supremacist, or a madman that thinks he's a scholar when he just forgot to take his fucking medication because he's a pathetic little shit. If it wasn't clear, what I'm going to try to cover in as semi-common matter as possible, it's going to be the entire fucking argument that LGBTQ people are grooming children, or that they're a danger to society, and also the fact that a former president dined with a fucking neo-Nazi, had the ear of a neo-Nazi. I really can't think of white supremacy being within an inch of one of the most powerful and influential people since fucking Woodrow Wilson praising fucking Birth of a Nation. I really can't think of something that blatant other than that. Now, what really started this recent revitalization of anti-Semitism? Fucking Kanye West showing his true fucking colors. Hating Jewish people, demonizing Jewish people, having the same old fucking trope against Jewish people that, oh, we control Hollywood and we control the bank and we're somehow controlling fucking literally everything, even though we are this small of the global population. Somehow we control everything. Where the fuck was my invite then? I'm a Jew, proud Jew, always been a loud northeastern American Jew, blunt as fuck. I ain't got a fucking invitation of how to fuck over the goyim. Where the fuck was my invite? Oh, I guess I got lost in the mail. If you couldn't tell, that was sarcasm. Just, the same pathetic bullshit that I've heard time and time again as a Jewish man. The denial of 6 million of my people being slaughtered at the hands of one of the most evil regimes in human history, being trivialized and continued to be trivialized. Why? Because there are very few fucking Holocaust survivors left to tell the horrors of the Nazis, to tell their first-hand accounts. They are dying, and due to them dying, the horrors they experienced are going to be trivialized by a louder minority than I had hoped. I would say, you can't fucking tell me that Kanye West, at this point, has anything to do with empowering black people as his ultimatum. One who does that doesn't align himself with neo-Nazis. Someone who does that doesn't give the go-ahead for these people to attack Jewish people, an ally to black people. First of all, I just want to say black anti-Semitism has always been fucking stupid. And I'm always going to say it's just beyond stupid that you would, one, hate an ally group that will have your back. Will it be every Jew? No. Are there conservative Jews that will downplay your trauma, your tragedies, your collective suffering? Of course, because conservatives are assholes when it comes to that. If it's their group, they'll fucking scream the loudest of my oppression at X regime happened. But when it comes to using that trauma as this moment of, my God, if my grandparents were in that situation, I wouldn't exist. my parents wouldn't exist. I gotta make sure that doesn't happen to anybody else. I gotta be the first fucking line of defense. There are people who are like that. To basically try to use a random clip of Malcolm X taken out of context to justify Kanye West's anti-Semitism is hilarious. Now, is this clip I'm referencing of Malcolm X problematic or disturbing to me as a Jewish man? Of course. But historical figures are not these set in stone icons. They're not these little things you can just trivialize to make your bullshit point. They are people who evolved over time. And in the case of people like Malcolm X, whose lives were horribly cut short because they were killed. So we don't know what the modern day Malcolm X would have been like. A 90-year-old Malcolm X. We don't know that Malcolm X. We know the man in his writings and in the interviews he gave throughout the 60s. Well, the 50s and 60s, I believe. Also, Kanye West's anti-Semitism is clearly entrenched in Christian nationalism, which in and of itself is blatantly anti-Semitic. Why? Because Christian nationalists believe that the United States, or Western society as a whole, is a Christian construct. Something to spread the word. Another inquisition, if you will. Some of these motherfuckers, like Nick Fuentes, who dined with former President Donald Trump, said, oh, we're not going to do another Holocaust. Yeah, I highly doubt that. If you motherfuckers got into power, of course you'd do another Holocaust. But unlike the first Holocaust, you'd have some fucking pushback. Or he goes, oh, well, Jews can exist, but you can't hold any power. So you'll just be a second-class citizen. Thank you so much for that, Nick. Thank you, Master. Thank you so much for saying that my Jewish ass can exist in your twisted dystopian hellhole of a society. But I can't do shit. Thank you for that. But I'll have a pulse according to you, right? Of course. Kanye West is the perfect fucking puppet for these white supremacists. He really is. He's the black friend they can point to. And it's pathetic. It's pathetic that this fucking lunatic is choosing to be controversial and die on this hill. A hill that at the end of the day would never benefit him. Not real. Here's a reality check to fucking Kanye West. If shit hits the fan, guess who's also gonna be in line for the gas chambers? Not just me, it's gonna be your dumbass. Now, you might be offended or troubled by the type of graphic imagery I'm using. But I feel you really need to understand the levels of fucked we are right now. Really think about this for a minute. Genuinely think about this. If you have any sense of critical thinking, any sense of historical knowledge when it comes to this shit. A fucking nobody like Nick Fuentes had the ear of a former fucking president. And if you have any issue with me calling Donald Trump a white supremacist at this point, and that every fucking time he pointed to Ivanka or Jared as my Jewish family to downplay his anti-Semitism and his white supremacist leanings, you're a fool. You can know minority people. You can have a certain amount of minority friends. Let me tell you this much. If you can count how many black people you know, how many Jewish people you know, on all 10 of your fingers, oh, maybe you have to add 5 more. Right, so 15. To prove you're not a racist, or an anti-Semite, or a bigot. Like, oh, I know X amount of gay people, or LGBTQ people, but let me tell you what's wrong with them. Let me tell you why they're immoral sinners who are going to go straight to hell and why they're grooming our children. Firstly, fuck you. Just fuck you for saying that. You know what that rhetoric did? 5 people were killed because of it. 20 more were injured because of that fucking vile rhetoric. And instead of the right having this moment of, my God, people got killed because of what we alluded to, what we dog whistled. What have we done? That's if these people had any fucking sense of morality. Which they don't. And they never will. A homophobe has no morals. They have no moral compass. They want LGBTQ people, specifically, they want trans people to be dead. They want every last trans person dead. They don't want them to exist because it challenges their idea of what society is. You have these dumb motherfuckers who go to school board and go, well, there's a certain populace of us whose faith says blah, 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 blah. My faith this, my Bible this. Fuck your Bible. Genuinely, fuck your Bible. Firstly, a true Christian knows Jesus Christ never proselytized hatred. He never proselytized killing people, genociding people, justifying that shit. What these motherfuckers are doing is perpetuating a cycle of violence against children who are questioning their sexual identity, questioning their sexual orientation, questioning their gender identity, and in many cases know exactly who the fuck they are and want to transition. I will admit, when I was younger and didn't know shit about trans issues other than trans people got the right to exist and they got the right to piss wherever the fuck they want to piss, who gives a fuck, none of my business. I remember having a conversation with my friend about gender affirming care for children. And I was like, no, I don't know how I feel about that. That feels weird. But I learned more about it. I learned more about what the process of that is. This shit can save children's lives. This can prevent them from killing themselves. Affirming that their sexual orientation is valid. Affirming that their desire to be in the body of their choosing is valid. That you exist. You're a human being. And you have the right to exist. Just like any other fucking human being does. That is fucking important. Especially for marginalized children. These clubs that are LGBTQ positive help these kids feel safe. Help them escape trauma from various religious institutions or various political institutions that just want them dead. We have an entire party in this goddamn country that is willing to devalue their right to exist. We have people who are proposing don't say gay bills. Don't teach LGBTQ stuff. Don't teach sexual education. Don't teach anything about the LGBTQ community. Don't teach the history of it. Just act like it doesn't exist. And what I love the most is these motherfuckers will claim that, oh, this is freedom in the most Orwellian shit I've ever heard. Yes, oppression is freedom. Inhumanity is humanity. Immorality is morality and righteous. And the parents that help their kids transition are apparently child abusers. Oh, and groomers. If you call a trans person a groomer, you're a piece of shit. Here's how I know you're a piece of shit. We have Republican bodies in various southern states trying to, what? What are they trying to do? Legalize child marriage. What the fuck do you call that? That sounds like grooming to me. That sounds like endangering a child to such horrors that are undescribable. But no. The drag performer reading fucking Curious George at a library is the groomer. Oh no, a kid going, "Excuse me, why are you wearing a dress?" And the drag performer explaining why. Oh no, we can't have a child asking a question. We can't have a child becoming curious about something they've never seen. We have to limit the curiosity of children. There are many reasons why I consider myself a staunch defender of the LGBTQ community. There are a few reasons. Two very important people I know are LGBTQ. Two people who mean the world to me. I have friends of my parents who I would consider like surrogate aunts and uncles who are part of that fucking community. I grew up knowing for a fact that these were people who had every fucking right to exist. And oh, they dressed like a woman, or they were given hormones to transition into a woman, or transition into being a man, or their partner was a woman and the friend was a woman, or the partner was a man and their friend was a man, or they were bisexual. I can safely say I was fortunate enough to know a lot of beautiful LGBTQ people who are my surrogate family. So do I have a personal stake in making sure that the people I love the most aren't persecuted even further by morons and psychopaths with this delusion of moral superiority? I have a personal investment in it, but also as a human being, as a Jewish man who knows what the steps towards genocide are, who knows very well what happens when you allow an evil ideology any credence, any legitimacy. It leads to people getting killed. I will not stand for it as a man. I will not stand for it as a human being. Evil rises when good people don't do a damn thing. Evil rises because you let some fringe motherfucker gain political positions of power that can dictate the lives of people. I hope by making this stupid little YouTube video of mine that I can make a small impact on that by telling you why you need to fight for marginalized people. Why homophobia, racism, anti-Semitism, all this shit is just fucking stupid at the end of the day. You know, conservatives always find a new fucking enemy. It's like a fucking wheel of what are we going to be outraged about today? Oh, books. We're going to basically redo book burning and censoring of books. We're going to ban knowledge from people. One of the greatest gifts we can give someone, we're going to ban it. Because a certain sect is afraid of being challenged or their place in society being taken down a peg. As it should be. Because collectively, it's done nothing but make life hell for everybody else. I encourage you, if you're a subscriber of my channel, I'm going to link some charities that revolve around the history of people of color, like some museums that you can donate to, and the link in the description. Thank you for listening. I'm glad I got this off my chest. Live long and prosper and have a good day.